Once again, hello world. And by the views of, I can see the views and the views of it, of your concern is basically in the hundreds, only in two areas of even being alone and not like worrying about having a companion while, delivering the word, and that it causes the problem of, touching of your brethren or whoever you desire at the time of the marriage of having is as you do the ministry and who you be the desiring for would be your wife, and you are worried about that. I explained to you that they were trying to understand how can they put it in the school. You worrying about the wrong things. You already knew that was going on. That means in all actuality, on my page by the views and lack of likes and in comments that you really can't comprehend even when I'm telling you and spoke the very truth and you was just worrying about in the hundreds, only two things that was in the hundreds of the Bible being in the school, and that a man trying to preach the word and not having a wife that leads to all this, you know, desiring for whoever in the church that he wants. And you was writing about that, and I've been hearing that, a very long time as well. And now that it rung to your attention, but the whole actuality, all what was the video parts on this page, the videos and the shorts, even in the other revealing of changing of the word is like only 5 views out of the hundreds that you not don't want this to happen, or you trying to spread that this is happening in the church. But the whole reality, the reveal it, like if you knew it, you prove the fact by the views, and the views that are concerned where this ends is up, and how can you change only in those two things. And then that means on five or whatever the views now from what I'm talking about is that the world chose 5% of, they revealed that they knew about, they changed the word. Even by that, let alone how can you be saved? Even they still changing the word in English, even changing it as itself as just one word of the prayer of Jesus. Just the say how you should say it as you pray, but you would never touch the area, and that you honestly say that you bow down. And this is the one of the true problems is that who told you to put your hands together in a form way, like it's like putting it up like this, together, and pray. You cannot find that. How can you find that anywhere in the scriptures? So you honestly worried about something that you already knew anyway. The spread that this is happening in the church, we don't want it in the school. But by my views, it always means like at the according to 5% views that you knew that Pope Francis spoke the truth. That's what you did. It was not necessary to know it because you already knew the truth. And whether you knew the truth that they was doing it, how can you be saved? This is the reason why the covenant sealed was in place, and you don't understand even what that is. You know what I'm saying? If you don't know what that is, that means that I blocked off everything that you think you can still know by the worry of not having in school. That means something's wrong with it. So you had to make sure it's not getting in school. That's one matter in its own self. And how to actually learn it on your own, I make sure that if you probably did try to figure it out, but by using the power to, God using you in a way, and certain the power of been used as such as the prophets in Jesus, miracles, signs, and how he healed and walked on water, feed people with through fish. You would never obtain that power because I concealed it within my own self. That if I can't bring this message and you would not believe me by your views, I was trying to warn you. I can see your views and what you was concerned about. That you already knew those two that you had hundreds in. We already, basically I seen that too, and you worrying about it now, and honestly that's in the hundreds according to what you viewed and actually then like clicked it and viewed it. That means on 5% really of you that of people that viewed it, and then if you just look at it like, oh, I already knew what he changed the words, then you already know. You don't know the truth then, and if you don't know the truth and you concerned about why is this about to go into to the schools and about being alone as men in ministry that has the desire and who the he wants in the church, and because he has the lack of of expression of a desire for that he's supposed to have a wife issue. Now that it's clear that you're worried about these two issues that you already know from years and years, but even over the years and years that Pope Francis had revealed that he, even in English, that he's still changing the words. He chose the words, which means that you wouldn't focus really on, like, even as he spoke the words, that means you still, honestly, that means you still did not get the actual true message. This is why I was designed to make sure that I made that, that covenant, and now it's sealed that even by worrying about that, you thought that 5% out of the whole world, or how you got to the hundreds of the matter at hand, but how can you actually know that it's true if you thought that only 5% that really touched the fact that then that means only a lot of y'all really knew, and that means you knew something about knowing the truth. How would you know the truth and no one's like saying what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? If you practice what I was telling you to do, if you even know all this and then try to explain it like out in the open, see if anybody, yeah, you're right, man, or somebody like, yo, shut the then you say, you're not the police. I guarantee they still pursue that. They gotta just do something to you where they don't have no law enforcement rights because they scared of what you're saying, because they may know that it exists, but how to use it and whatever the things, that means that by your views, that means you don't know how to do it either, but somehow you knew the truth about how what's happening, but by your views of knowing that, you knew of Pope Francis revealing it around probably the same time of all of the videos that, that you can see, it means a lot. Then, then that means that when this is all clear from those 2 points of view, you're going to go back to church and I sealed it. Whereas though you would never understand, because I told you, like, even if that was true and you trying to, still be saved, and I told you the churches is closed and this is a real serious issue, and there was no really comments, extreme in the hundreds of likes, and the spreading of the magnitude matters. You already knew, but okay, and now let's see what happens. Give it a little more time, and and honestly, things will come to the notice with that you really checking the videos clearly. It seems like if I'm telling you the truth about what the Nazarenes right there, because for honestly, that's the same view as it was like 4 or 2, 3 views out the hundreds that is the task at hand, that you don't want the book to be in schools, and by being alone and trying to give the word, but how come you worrying about that, and when all that's clear out the way, you still got to rely on the pastor, all that, and it comes back to all over that thing again. So I sealed it, whereas though you would never know it, because he don't know it through the what you ain't really understand, because of the views of the videos and just the shorts of what at the task at hand. It was only 2 matters that you knew, but or some of that, and just try to spread what was going on. And you knew that he revealed, he taking the words out. And if that was the case, you can't go to church anyway and find out anyway, because it's not accurate. So you knew that part right in there anyway. You did not share it enough on anybody that knew the page was like, okay, I knew it. And how the heck you knew it and not let us know it? By just that alone, the church is closed. How can you actually tap into something that I didn't seal, because I was afraid, because when I was showed and actually told, I made the like the covenant, and I sealed it. You would never understand. That's why if you thought you saw it, you would, the views would you see, if you did look at it, that it match. And what was at the task at hand, that means you already know. And by the views, when you do look at it, the people trying to worry about that it shouldn't be in the schools, and if it couldn't be in the schools and you couldn't even interpret or understand what the pastors are saying, and this is just true, you worried about something being in school, but that will throw them off, that they made it at a school. The whole time you worried about still going to Saturday and Sunday to learn about the word, and you don't talk about God under none of them days, but only the days you're supposed to go to church. Well, all right, I'm gonna go ahead and go. And Peace and blessings, world. There will be more to come. I'm worried about what's your main concern, and this is why I made the covenant sealed. Peace and blessings.